paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe, and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, yeah, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes.
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
Well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Brainstorm Brewery.
Should we tell people this is take two?
If there was an immune system of podcasts, this one would not be it. DJ Torp is knee, I have the Rona.
Yeah,
things are
DJ's
rough
immune
here.
system really failed to protect his knee there.
Yep.
When
Well,
I
welcome
fell
in,
down,
everybody.
white blood cells just swarm there to protect those ligaments.
Just like little nanobots.
We did get a comment. I'll start us off with an email / Patreon comment.
Okay.
Andrew Watts, DJ, I would love to hear the story of your fall next episode. Number 2, Jason, how do I mail you beer? And
Buy a magic card from me, and then you'll have my address.
that's a good way to do it. And then Corbin, I have nothing in particular to say to you unless you also want beer.
Hey, well, not right now, because, the Rona kind of sucks.
You can drink a Corona, probably. Right? As you're choking, you're like, this is on theme.
But
what if coronavirus was cured by limes? And no one tried that?
I think people have tried drinking while on Rona.
people have tried...
You know what I've been trying to do, though, mostly?
Imagine drinking your own urine before.
I was going to say,
trying
you think
limes.
anti-vaxxers went to urine after, after limes?
No. Look, listen. I have, as someone who is now suffering with the Rona, I can tell you the one thing that I've tried to do consistently throughout all of this.
What's that, Corbin?
Breathe. It's harder than it sounds.
Dude, I've had 25 years of allergies. Like, I was forged in fire. When I get corona, I am not going to notice. It's just going to be another day of sniffles and coughing.
Famous last words. Right there. But you know what? That's what we do on this show.
You're daring coronavirus to kill you. You know that, right?
He is.
You're going to be the first guy with the Omega variant.
It's a... Well, right now they have Delta.
What's the news? The news meme? Like, what are you gonna do? Stab me, guy who was stabbed. Mm-hmm. What are you gonna do? Infect me, guy who was infected. I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I haven't left the house in 2 weeks, and it's certainly not of my own.
DJ's a like talk shit to approaching doom kind of guy, right? Like everyone meets the apocalypse in their own way.
Because he's 5'3", man. Everybody with a Napoleon complex loves to talk shit.
Yeah, dude. It's like the nuke blast is coming at him, and he's like, "You."
DJ's the guy that got on a train in Hiroshima and went to Nagasaki where it was safe. I should learn that dude's name when I tell that story, because that was a dude legitimately did that. He survived Hiroshima, and then he got on a train to Nagasaki.
There's a few stories of people like that just went from one disaster to another. There's a few of those.
Yeah, for instance, there was what was that one? It was Unbreakable. Ooh, and also Split and Glass. Those are 3 stories about people similar to that.
The quality on those 3 movies varies slightly.
Just a bit.
That is the whole premise of Unbreakable, though.
Okay, so one thing I want to say about Split, and if you haven't seen it, screw you. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
You didn't care.
If you haven't watched, listen.
So, like,
if you haven't watched the movie 2 years into the pandemic,
you're
not going.
What have you been doing for 2 years? You watched Tiger King, but you didn't watch Split. You didn't care.
You watched season 2 of Tiger King, but not Split.
I like the initials of like the final personality were like L.E., and he kidnapped a girl named Ellie, and I spent the whole movie thinking, oh, Ellie, she's the last personality, because her name's Ellie, L.E., it's a whole thing, and they're like, no, we didn't do that. That's better than what M. Night Shyamalan
just left Chekhov's gun just on the table.
Like, I know. He picked up Chekhov's gun and shot himself in the foot. So,
well, look, I actually, unfortunately, was spoiled by the entire genre twist in the sense that I didn't see Split until I learned that it was a stealth sequel or whatever they'd called it to Unbreakable. But I have to say, I think that was really cool. Right?
No.
Like, maybe it was a new thing to me, but the whole genre twist of a movie I thought was neat.
I mean, Spy Kids is
I think
like,
he shouldn't be allowed. Look, if you get 11 DUIs, they take your driver's license away. Why is M. Night Shyamalan?
You just
not
don't like
have
M. Night
his movie
Shyamalan.
making license
Okay,
taken
that's
away?
Corbin, like, Spy Kids is a stealth sequel to Machete, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's in the Shark Boy and Lava Girl universe.
Okay.
Robert Rodriguez is like, all my movies are linked. The guy with the machine gun guitar case is the same as Taylor Lautner being a Shark Boy. It's all related. Dude, I love Robert Rodriguez. You guys directing it out of Boba Fett right now.
Good for him. And you know what? Look, that's all of Hollywood these days anyways, right? Thanks to the MCU. Anything can be connected.
Everything's an extended universe now. Yeah.
Yeah, like literally whatever your favorite movie was. Like, you feels like you're allowed to care
You know
about
what
Andrew
started
Garfield's
that?
Spider-Man again, and that's just weird.
What started that was Golden Girls. When they spun off Golden Girls into Golden Palace, now available on Hulu, they started the Golden Girls extended universe.
Cinematic universe.
It wasn't cinematic. It was on television. You're embarrassing yourself.
You're telling me
Was there a Golden Girls movie? Was there a Golden Girls movie that I missed?
Are you telling me that television can't be cinematic?
Yeah. But only by definition.
Well, I don't know the definition of that word. Let's find out.
I need to get smarter, friends.
So, Andrew, to answer your original question, yes, you can send Jason beer. No, you can't send Corbin beer. DM us, either DM me on Discord or on
Why would
Patreon
you
or
DM
whatever.
someone who's not me to get my address? That's what I want to know.
Because that's how the previous two people who have sent you beer have gone. That's the channel they've used. So,
And reaching out to you is a good way to get blocked.
well, one of them reached out to our Patreon account, and then you didn't reply over a few days, so I ended up replying. So that's how that works.
He doesn't know how to
Why would
log
I-
into our Patreon
I
account.
don't have access to our Patreon account.
Like I said.
You set up two-factor authentication and it sends a code to your phone.
No, I have it set so that you
He
shouldn't
doesn't
need to
know.
use two-
He doesn't even know. It's okay.
Okay. All right. So, Corbin, you can't be sent beer. Jason, if they want beer, they can send it to you. As for the story of my fall, I will put a link in the description of the YouTube /podcast/ whatever to my Twitter thread about my fall. You can watch the video of my friend do the same route, or you can look at my stick figure drawing of how I fell. One of the two.
There you
tell
go.
this- People don't ask a question on a podcast because they want to be told to go to Twitter. They want to listen in their car on their way to work where they know they're going to get coronavirus.
If you want me to tell the story,
This person
Jason,
has 2 weeks to live, and they asked you to entertain them.
I do
The
think
man's
that,
down to his last white blood cell, and you're like, go to Twitter. That's what Joe Biden would say. F you.
I do think it is
Google
hard.
it. I'm
you
President
know how
Biden.
you know how you guys make fun of me for trying to audibly describe visual memes?
Yeah, and
I
that has
thought-
become a meme in and of itself.
I thought that me trying to describe the specific climbing route would result in the same sort of
Look,
mocking.
I got this. DJ put hands on climb holds, puts foot on wall, falls. His knee, it goes, and it goes, and then it went like that, and then none of it worked anymore. And this dude who was next to him was like, yo, looks like you tore your ACL and your MCL and your meniscus and anything else your knee might need to function. And DJ was like, I think you're right. The end.
I like how you started that out like you were a character in Cloud Atlas. DJ, make the fall. Doctors say you speak to true. Your knee is.
His knee was. What is the
We're
prognosis
close.
now, DJ? Though, when do you get to have surgery and
I
all
am
that.
getting so I currently have a cast for until the end of the month, and it's there so that my MCL heals on its own to some degree and makes it so that I don't need to have surgery on that specific ligament, so that the surgery is less intensive. And my surgery is tentatively on February 18th, but it could be moved up or down based on how the appointment on the 31st goes.
Are you getting
This was my
an
question
ACL
too.
from a cadaver?
Yeah, that was my question too.
I don't know.
Okay. That or they
Not
take
yet.
it out of your butt.
I will give
right? Like,
updates when I learn.
I'm glad we both had the same question there, though. That's important.
Do you remember the Tasmanian Devil show from 1994?
No, Jay.
I do. My grandma would like put on those cartoons for me when I was visiting sometimes.
It was set in Australia, right? Yeah, it was. Because he's from Tasmania. So everybody, all the people on the show that weren't Tasmanian Devils, all were Australian.
All right, you want to hear an Australian movie that I want to know if Jason knows that was like a big part of my childhood growing up?
Is it Crocodile Dundee?
No, this movie was made in 1994. All right, this is a breaking bulk for movies. Let's go.
Oh, Jesus.
This is a movie from 1994. It was made in Australia, and it's an animal movie where it's like Homeward Bound-esque, where it's all just animals, but they're all voiced by people.
Oh no. Are they all jellyfish and giant spiders that go in your shoes and shit?
No. I'm pulling up the Wikipedia page for it.
You will do anything to avoid going to IMDb. Who hurt you at IMDb?
Oh, sorry. It was 95. It was 95.
Okay.
It was 1995. Australian family film directed by Mario Andreaccio. Yeah. Written by Michael Borchier. About a golden retriever puppy who runs away from his home to be a wild dog. Do you know the name of this movie?
No.
Okay, it's Napoleon.
Napoleon.
I watched this movie constantly growing up. I hope that somebody listening to me speak right now on this podcast is knowing what I'm talking about, because this was a big part of my childhood. It's about a puppy who, like, he jumps in a little basket of balloons and he's at a birthday party, and then the balloons float him away, and he ends up in the Australian, like, wildlife / savannah /
I think it's
wilderness.
called the Outback, right?
Outback, sure. I mean, there's different
It's not
biomes,
just for
man. I don't know.
steaks and blooming onions. It's also.
But he has to find his way home, and he's like he's chased by an evil cat, and he meets koalas and like pelicans and kangaroo. He rides in a kangaroo pouch.
So you
Nah,
know
man.
all about Australian wildlife now.
Yep.
It was an educational film.
Makes sense. Those are the best kind. You're going to feel like you learned something coming out of it, you know? Feel good about showing it to your kids.
Napoleon. Why was he
Good
called
movie. Good
Napoleon?
family-friendly movie.
Sure. You know what else is family friendly though?
Are you going to say getting us back into the podcast?
I was going to say Breaking Bulk.
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, Breaking Bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
That is a transition. That is a getting in a hot air balloon accidentally and ending up in the middle of the Australian outback of a transition.
That's right.
All right, take us away, balloons.
I already went, so I already did my breaking bulk.
You already did your breaking bulk?
Yeah, it was.
Was
the
your
Napoleon
ACL?
movie.
Was breaking your ACL?
He did break it all in bulk.
I got a legit good one. This is so much money, and it's been money for a year or two, but I've definitely left these in bulk. It is from Darksteel, and it is a red card.
Is it the one that moves all equipment onto one creature?
Magnetic Theft.
Magnetic
Yeah.
Theft is $5, y'all. Did you know that?
I did.
I was actually expecting you to tell me it was from Fifth Dawn. For some reason, I had a Mandela effect there about that card being from Fifth Dawn. I don't know.
Did I say Darksteel?
You said Darksteel. Is it Fifth Dawn?
It's the helmet. Darksteel's the
That's-
shield. It is Fifth Dawn. You're right.
That's funny.
So I was like,
Nice.
Jason's looking at the card. He must be right, but I'm gonna guess it's.
I'm looking at the expansions. Man,
So I guessed it right, even though you gave the
I know
wrong.
Mirrodin. Mirrodin's the paintbrush, right?
Mirrodin's the sword.
It's a paintbrush. They say it's Sword of Cauldra or whatever. It's a paintbrush.
A paintbrush of Cauldra.
And that's why
Okay.
Painter's Servant was
In Shadowmoor?
in Shadowmoor.
In Shadowmoor. It all makes sense now.
It's an
I have
artifact from Mirrodin, which is the paintbrush set.
I have a green rare from the
Okay.
set Magic 2015.
All right, DJ, good job.
Is it Hornet Nest?
Nope.
Is it Hornet Queen?
Nope.
Is it Hornet?
Nope.
I didn't finish.
Okay.
How many years before Commander 2014 was Magic 2015? 2 years?
DJ is right. This was the Hornet Queen Hornet Nest set. But it's
Green
neither.
rare from that set though.
Is it? What is it?
It's a $3+ card.
Is it the draw cards thing?
I think you probably are getting that there. Yeah, Life's Legacy.
The dead
is it a-
unicorn, right?
Yep.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
As an additional cost to cast it, sack a creature, draw cards equal sacrifice creature's power. It's a sorcery. Only costs 2 mana. It's been climbing up over the past year or so, and it's $3 and climbing. Honestly, it's probably on its way to 5.
Commander players, you should play Momentous Fall, and we
That's
like
right.
it.
That's right.
I played Momentous Fall and Savra for like 5 years.
Momentous Fall Vengevine. That was a standard that I played.
Guess
back
who
when
has
I
this
did
card
that.
for $2.50?
Would that be Card Kingdom?
Cool Stuff Inc., former sponsor of this podcast, current sponsor of yours truly. Cool Stuff Inc. We got stuff. It's cool. We have ink. Different spelling, but we have that kind of ink too, probably. We can
Thanks.
print out a tracking slip and say, hey, you bought all these copies of Life's Legacy because it's $1 more on TCG Player than it is on Cool Stuff Inc. What's that all about? That's weird. That doesn't happen. Anytime Cool Stuff Inc. is not the most expensive, something's wrong, and then I just go buy all of them. Cool Stuff Inc., your source for singles and the best EDH articles. Money can you don't buy the articles, you buy the copies of Life's Legacy. You did it. Cool
All right.
Stuff Inc.
I have a World Wake common instant, and it's green. It's a lot of info.
What set was World Wake?
It's the paintbrush.
Was
I don't-
Nature's Claim in that set?
Yes,
Is it Nature's Claim?
it is.
All right, there we go.
I expected this one to float under the radar because it got reprinted a couple times.
I literally
and-
got more hung up on it being a World Wake than I did it being. Yeah, Nature's Claim is it's a CEDH card, and
it's a
Legacy.
modern card too, right?
Is it modern?
Kinda.
Well, it's a card that was in World Wake, and then it was in Conspiracy, and then it was in Eternal Masters, and then it was in Iconic Masters, and then it was in Mystery Boosters.
It was in a
and then I
lot.
got an old border in Time Spiral. So
Yep.
it's just a card that I think a lot of people thought was just reprinted to dust, but like it's just an actual dollar. Like I used to pick this because it was a nickel. I used to
Yeah.
just be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's the Nature's Claims, it's whatever. But it's like it's crept up to $1.
Yeah, there was definitely a moment of time where I thought that card was reprinted into nothing, but you're right. Good one. Okay, well, there
It's
you
not
go.
even really a casual EDH card, which I think is really funny. Let me see how many decks it's in before I say something like that. Nature's
Do you think
Claim.
shady HFX prices very much, Jason? On something
No.
like this?
On foils or something like that? Okay. So mea culpa. Can you guys guess? Is Nature's Claim in more than 10,000 or fewer than 10,000 decks on EDH Rec?
More.
Corbin?
I'm gonna take the push.
You're gonna take the push. You think it's within about 1,000? You think it's between 9 and 11,000 then?
Mm-hmm.
72,000.
It's quite a few.
Yeah, it's one of the most played green cards. I just somehow missed that.
I've never played it, but
I would never play this in casual EDH, but apparently I'm very much in the minority. It's in 15% of all green decks total registered. in the
It's
last
also
2
like
years.
never been in a precon, which is like
So
speaks
people
more
are
to that,
adding
right?
it.
Like
People are adding it.
yeah.
also the
interesting.
Time Spiral remastered, the old border one is like $3 or $4.
Now that makes sense because the card is competitively played to an extent. The issue is in modern, there are so many options for what Nature's Claim does that Nature's
No, I get
Claim
it. You have
itself
like Force of
is,
Vigor. You have all the but,
yeah, like Nature's Claim itself is not really particularly like, you know, heavily played to an extent where I would have thought it would make it worth money.
it used to be a Tron card.
Well, next up, we are going to talk about Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. It is time for a lot of the set to be leaked, it turns out, or at least some of the set. Which is sad. That's all I have to say on that.
There's a card on Mythic spoiler that like they have no text for. They're just like, here's a shitty cell phone pic. We have no idea what it says.
I do question some of this stuff just because like someone pointed out on Reddit for one of these leaks of the cards that came out, it's like it doesn't even make sense to have a terrible cell phone picture. They're doing it on purpose. It was like a picture taken on a solid background, like not just like someone at the warehouse sneaking a photo, right? It's like someone who could have taken a good photo chose to take a bad one, which really just makes you think that like people are intentionally trolling with fakes or something like that. But the cards that get leaked rarely turn out to be fake, and it would be a lot of effort to go through for some of these, so they're probably real. And
I like the jacked up Kami War that somebody smuggled out of the print shop, stuffed up their ass like a hero. Somebody rolled that into a tube, took a deep breath.
And when you're looking on Mythic Spoiler 2, the image is just a crumpled up, like parts of it just torn off. You can see the white background picture of the Kami War here, which, as it turns out, is a Mythic 5-color saga.
Must get them this card image 2 weeks early.
Wait. Are we thinking about this the wrong way? So have you guys gotten those ads on Facebook for like the giant blankets?
Yeah.
Is this just a giant blanket picture of the Kami War?
Like card they won't put on a blanket for you, even if you ask nice? Smallpox. They won't do it. They said that's messed up. I was like, I didn't do it. I'm just trivializing it.
I am not a fan of all these leaks, as we know. And some of these are just so ridiculous. You can barely. It's just ridiculous where this is at. Just the state of the world that someone's like must sneak blurry cell phone photo of Magic card put on internet 3 days early. Like
you think that leak is bad? You can get the entire plot of this whole set by reading Neil Stephenson's Snow Crash.
I don't know what that means.
It's a book.
Okay. You know what? I made a reference to a 1995 Australian movie that one person's going to get.
Yeah.
This is your version of that for this episode.
Snow Crash, it's the best-selling cyberpunk novel of all time. What are you talking about? Should I have said William Gibson's Neuromancer?
None of that.
Would you
It wouldn't have made a difference.
I don't know any
it
of
wouldn't
it,
have made
man.
a difference.
So, as you can tell, we clearly are experts on the
Not
subject matter
readers.
here. Anyways, this set is cool. It's going to be it's about modified creatures, and ninjutsu is back. And we don't need to go too much into certainly the leaked cards that I want to talk about, but and there's some cool stuff here. It seems like the reaction to the set thus far has been largely positive. Wizards hosted a panel about creating and the world building of it, and it seemed like they put a lot of thought into the cultural elements of it and making sure everything landed and came across and was respectful and all of that. And it got a lot of positive feedback, it seemed like. So it feels like this set is setting up to be something pretty cool as we get to see cards over the next month or so. I hope you enjoyed your 3-week break over the holidays, Jason, because it's time for more sets and more commander decks.
Time for a stupid, like, every color of Hitotsugu is 10 times more rare than the color before.
Those are sick. That is like one of the best things Magic has done for collectability.
I think it's fine.
It's not even a good card.
It doesn't matter.
I want the yellow one so fucking bad. I would push my son into a snowbank and step on his back to get a yellow
Jason.
one.
Jason's like, oh, this stupid thing right now. Oh, I want the yellow one.
Yeah, the yellow one. It's clearly for degenerates, right?
They're all cool, to be honest. I like the purple one. But I also, I'm probably not going to play this card in anything, so probably doesn't matter. I won't get one, but I do think they're cool, and I like what
the rare Hitotsugus are great, actually, because that woman who used to sell jars of her farts had to stop doing it, and all those fart buyers have all this extra income, and they could use it on a pink Hitotsugu.
There you go. There you go, I guess.
Yep.
I'm not saying the Venn diagram is a circle. I'm saying it looks like MasterCard. A lot of people in the middle there using their MasterCard to buy farts.
So you just think all the fart buyers were already Magic players?
We're already Magic players. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, we're not going to... Probably not, like, wrong, per se.
It's like, oh, I can't donate to people playing Luigi's Mansion at GDQ because I spent all my money on farts.
I mean, that tracks, right? They, like, get up all methaned up, and then they go to complain about the arena shuffler, like...
Yeah, right. I huffed some meth this morning. You huffed crystal methamphetamine? Nah, methane. I'm high on meth.
All right, here's the other subject I want to talk about. What do you all think about the creation of the Pauper Advisory Panel, or whatever they're calling it?
Good. If it was a good idea for Commander, and it was, it's an even better idea for every format. Because they don't ultimately have to listen to those people. They're advisors. So basically what they did was they got a bunch of free information from very enfranchised people that they can ultimately choose to ignore. That's great. How do they trick a bunch of people into working for free for an honorific? That's great. Everything about it's great. People working for free.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that's my thing with this. If you read the article that states that they're creating this, the reasons they cite are that their design team is overworked because they have to design all of these products. And they have to focus on commanders and this supplemental product and this draft experience and this and that. And it's just too much for them to keep up with something like a constructed format that they provide official support for.
They're externalizing blame for when they ultimately make a fucked up Pauper card.
So at the same,
and everyone on Reddit's like, I never, if I had been on the team, I never would have let a card like that go out the door. So they have a bunch of people who are very enfranchised Pauper players, and then when they make a Pauper card that ruins Pauper and they have to ban it within 2 weeks, they'll be like, well, the Pauper Advisory Board didn't warn us that this card's going to be messed up. We didn't know that free spells are bad.
I mean, there's just so many things wrong with it. That's one of them. Another is the fact that what they're saying is our designers are not being paid enough to keep up with formats that they make Magic cards for, right? And it's just hard for me to reconcile. We don't have enough power. We don't have enough person power in our department to manage our responsibilities for a thing we created with
but
record
the alternative
profits.
To that is you have a bunch of tournament players designing brawl decks and like, oh, we fucked up EDH with 8 messed up cards.
But that's not the alternative, though. The alternative is instead of like, what if they paid those people? What if those people were hired? Because that used to be how they did it. When they needed to fix Modern, they went out and hired a bunch of really good Modern players to jobs that paid money. Now they're paying people in exposure.
They are paying people in exposure. It's genius. In a pandemic, it's like, you got a $2,000 stimulus check. Now work for free, idiot. And that's really cool and smart. Yeah. It's a good business, and that is why the WotC CEO is now the Hasbro CEO.
You're right about that.
So now we can't even complain about like the shitty decisions they make being a result of some person at Hasbro that's divorced from Magic. Now we have to be like, oh, they accidentally made the best card game, and they've just been failing upwards for 25 years. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm just.
Oh, God, it's almost 30 years, isn't it?
I'm just not at all surprised by this decision, but I am disappointed. Close.
Does it mean everyone who listens to this podcast is younger than Magic?
Sure, Jason. That's what that means.
Oh, no.
Anyway, so I'm sure there's more of this coming, and in the short term, I'm happy for the people I know. I'm friends with a lot of people on the board, blah, blah, blah. It's great for them. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them having a chance to fix the format and people who know what they're talking about be listened to. But at the same time, all I'm really seeing here is...
They are exploiting people caring about the format. These people are going to work for free because they love Pauper so much, and they're being exploited. But perhaps being paid in exposure will lead to...
I mean, I'm just going to pour one out here for the actual designers at Wizards who saw this as the best. They're not blind to the concerns I just outlined either, right? Like, but yet they're so overworked. This was the only thing they could actually get through the pipeline. It's just, I don't know. Doesn't feel good. I'll say that.
I don't think Pauper. Ooh, this is going to be a little spicy. I don't think Pauper is a thing that Wizards should worry about to the extent that it makes them not want to potentially put out a pushed card that's Pauper legal.
No, I completely
I think
agree
if
with
you're
that.
gonna like ruin Modern, that's really bad, and you should hire a bunch of people. But if like you accidentally ruin Pauper,
But the reason
problem
they did this,
isn't-
the reason this group exists is because they did that. They released cards that accidentally broke Pauper like 6 times. That's the problem.
But they're also saying Pauper is closer to EDH than it is to Pioneer.
Right, they're saying Pauper is not like a huge business thing for them.
Yeah,
and that's
it's
fine.
It's
but
the
let's not
EDH
pretend
of
that the
60
condition.
cards.
Let's not pretend that the conditions are cool and great and awesome, and then just end at Pauper. It's a symptom of a larger problem.
Well, the larger problem is that making a card game where the rules text is irrevocably printed on the cards is harder than having a Hearthstone where you're like, oops, this guy costs 3 now.
Right? Yeah.
It costs 3 forever because it's electronic.
And like people raged about alchemy. Yeah. All right. We haven't read an electronic mail in a little while. This one is from last month. It is from Louis Furtado. And the title is Never Patreon, but Patreon is spelled with an I. So
Never Patreon.
Never Patreon. I will never ever give you Patreon money. Ever. You are a bunch of degenerates. But Jason's money for nothing music video joke was so good and lost by everyone under 40 years. That I must object to your stupid after hours only Patreon content. This podcast has more value that how much Patreon dollars you can make. Sent from my NES after 3 wine and brandy mixers. Thanks, Louis. Is this a Papa John's that you've hustled before?
No.
Because you've called like Buffalo Wild Wings
No.
My sauce was on the side instead of on the wings. Can I get an
that's
extra
completely
double extra?
You
like,
completely changes the order, but go on.
Oh man, that was such good after hours. When DJ were just horrified that Corbin trying to finesse an extra like cup of ranch out of these minimum wage workers. Oh, it's brutal.
All of that's a misrepresentation of what happened.
We go to the tape.
we remember you distinctly like being on the phone with the guy.
I was
and
very
like
polite.
using the Socratic method to get him to say that like the sauce should have been on the side or some shit. Like
Now, does sauce normally come on the wings, or is it supposed to be not on? I just want to know. Maybe I'm the asshole here, but I kind of thought the sauce went on the wings. But your wings that you sent me are telling me that sauce goes not on the wings. So I just want to know if I'm the one who's wrong here. The sauce is supposed to be on. Okay, interesting.
That's one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
one
Sorry, man.
interpretation.
We'll get that. We'll get that replacement sent right out to you.
That's
You
one
and your wife are
interpretation.
going to consume so many of my pubic hairs, sir. We'll
Cut
give you
all of
those
that,
pubes
JJ.
and wings right back. No, this is good. People need to know that you're a fucking male Karen.
None of this made any sense. No, man. No.
You know what? If you don't like it, talk
to
to JJ's manager, all right? This is going in the cast. We have 26 minutes of content. We can't cut everything.
Yeah, you can put some of that in there.
I've got another email because that
All right,
one
let's
worked
hear it.
out so well. It said
Love
this
it.
one's titled 20. This one's in all caps. $20 patron for years after hours question. So this one might end up going in after
Oh, we
hours.
have
We'll
to
see.
read this.
It's from Tristan Mayshark, who is a very
We know Tristan Mayshark.
long
Come on
time
now.
listener.
Where does he live, DJ? Tell the people where Tristan Mayshark lives. If he's been a $20 patron for
You know
any
the
amount
worst
of time,
part? I
he
could
knows
tell
that
people
eventually.
where he lived, and he'd be ready. He's got like a barbed wire fence out in the middle of nowhere set up like in. He is doomsday prepped. He's not a prepper. He is prepped. Past tense.
A prepper is like filthy casual. I'm a part of the doomsday prepped community.
I want to know what y'all, but Jason specifically, have to say about Don't Look Up, and also what climate emergency signs might trigger me to want to sell my Magic the Gathering collectible cards, and how long the window between Magic cards decline in value and dollars no good, bullets and drugs equal currency is. And then there's another paragraph, but I'll let you start.
There is something called the Doomsday Glacier. They call it the Doomsday Glacier because it contains enough water to raise global sea levels by over 25 feet. It's going to, in the next 3 or 4 years, potentially lose its entire ice shelf, which could raise global ocean levels by 10 feet, threatening millions of habitats. So next 5 years, they're saying there's above a 50% chance of a 10-foot global sea level rise. If that doesn't make you doomsday prep, I don't know what will. Don't Look Up was fine. It worked okay as a movie. The fact that they think Michigan State University has a $10 million telescope kind of took me out of it a little bit. But no, I like the shout out to MSU. I had the same coffee mug as Leo. But the movie was unrealistic. And here's why the movie's unrealistic. Was it unrealistic because, like, they don't think half the population would just deny that you could see the giant asteroid about to crash on Earth? No, that's legit. Was it unrealistic because we don't have the detection technology to see a year away that an asteroid's headed straight for Earth, but not know if it's going to be a near miss? And a near miss is something like 1,000,000 miles or something like that. Like if something is closer to Earth's orbit than Mars's orbit, they're like, it was a near miss. That wasn't the unrealistic part. The unrealistic part was Leonardo DiCaprio having sex with a woman who's older than him. Took me out of the movie.
He follows up the email.
True.
My take is that it's an obvious but very on-the-nose movie, and critics who want to see it as punching down don't get it, and that they don't get that we're all complicit and they are incapable of accepting the degree to which we're all collectively screwed by decades of a totally irresponsible fossil
Punching
use.
down at who? Everybody in charge? Ronald Reagan tore the solar panels off the roof of the White House in the 80s, and everybody went, I guess we don't give a f*** about the environment forever now. And it's been 50 years since that happened, and we suck. So, in conclusion, you can't punch down at the people who are holding you down and you, right? So
I'll take my answer in after hours, please, because I want Jason's unredacted take, even if it includes advocacy of direct action against infrastructure.
oh my god, yeah.
Sent for my Timex Sinclair ZX88 using an ESP8266. I'm not hyperboleing this. Using an ESP8266 as a TCP/IP bridge. Okay, boomer.
That makes sense. Oh, I got that.
I
one.
am like one bad year away from going either doomsday prepper or eco-terrorist, or maybe both.
I thought that Don't Look Up had some interesting things to say. I thought that I don't think it was hugely funny. I think it had some funny parts, because I think the point of a parody is to be more outrageous than something to illustrate its own absurdities or whatever. But you can't out-parody the Trump White
It wasn't a
House.
parody, it was an allegory.
But the thing is, when they're like, this was a scene for me. And it was like, they go in and Jonah Hill is, supposed to be Jonah Hill is the chief of staff. It's the president's son. And he starts talking about how his mom, who is the president. And that's ridiculous and absurd until you realize that that's what the last president actually did. And then you're just sad, right? because
but
it's
his
not
mom is
more. It's
Meryl
just
Streep,
it's not more ridiculous than what happened. It's just a reminder of how the world is like. So it just takes you right out of it. You're like, oh, I can't even laugh at this because this is what happened, and it's not funny.
Our 45th and 47th president is that person.
And like, you know
what? That's what's when Donald Trump is inaugurated in 2 years. That'll be what makes me go full blown eco terrorist for sure. I'll be blowing up bridges and shit.
Allegedly.
Does that allegedly? You will not catch.
I
me.
thought the parts parodying the billionaires landed a lot better.
We're in favor of the jobs the asteroid is going to bring is the funniest fucking line I've ever seen in a movie in my life.
Perfect line, bro. That line killed me. That one was like double take because it's so real.
Yeah.
Oh. But no, I thought the movie was mostly just sad.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Like
It wasn't even about COVID when they made it, but then it came out and you're like, oh, this is about COVID too, kind of.
yeah, it's fine. Whatever. I also have like, this is a larger issue, right? But like, I also have issues with making comedy out of some of the things happening in the world right now anyways, because I believe it normalizes it.
I don't think mocking something normalizes it at all.
I think
Right.
when the insurrection becomes another late night punchline, it loses a lot of meaning.
The next insurrection won't be a late night punchline if that makes you feel better.
It's true.
It'll be the rise of the Fifth Reich. So we got that to look forward to.
Yep.
Man, I got to erase all those tweets that I made making fun of those Charlottesville chuds because that guy's going to be the next governor of Michigan.
All right, I'm losing my voice, but before we get out of here, we are going to move to our final segment. It is time for Pick of the Week.
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
As a reminder, all of our picks are brought to you via mtgstocks.com, our generous sponsor, who you can now get additional access to some of their content by signing up for MTG Stocks Premium today. It's inexpensive. It gets a lot of value. You get a lot of new information and tools that you'll have access to, and it's what we use for all of our picks on this podcast. So, with that said, I'm going to give you all a standard pick.
Is that a format?
Standard.
I don't believe that's a format. I'm serious. I'm not doing a bit. Like, I don't think that's a format.
I'm going to talk about this card and we'll see. Sorin the Mirthless is the newest Planeswalker, the Sorin out of Innistrad. The card is $9. The card was $8. It came out high. Obviously, it came down. It bottomed out at 8. It's since climbed back up to 9. It's very good in standard for whatever that's worth, which is not nothing because we have seen standard move paper card prices even in the past year. But
I think the only is there a standard card that has moved other than Essica's Chariot in the past year?
yeah, Omnath.
Me.
Like a lot. Like I mean, Embercleave, like there's a lot.
Are all of those like standard only though? Like,
Well, this was my next point: is that Sorin is not just standard only. I've seen people talking about this card in Pioneer and a little bit in Modern, but mostly Pioneer as being very powerful. And look, it's a powerful Planeswalker. I'm looking at a chart where it seems to have come up off a bottom and is sure looking like a card that's more likely to be $15 than it is to be $5, just based on what it's done over the past month and a half or so since it came out.
okay, we'll see.
So I want to throw it out here, and I want to look. I'm certain that this is not going to be a spreadsheet winner, but I did want to take some feedback on it.
We're going to look like such in a year.
I think it's a good discussion topic because saying the name of a format after nobody has heard it in 8 months is like a good just verbal exercise so the words can continue.
Isn't that what Wizards is? Like, hey guys, it's the Pauper Advisory Committee. Remember Pauper?
Yeah.
Remember the professor beat us into doing 6 months worth of paper Pauper tournaments? Remember all the Pauper paper people jokes we did on this cast? Remember that?
We did a couple.
Does it say more about Wizards that they didn't make a standard advisory group?
Because it would be called the SAG, and everyone's like, there's already a SAG.
I think
the Pauper one's like PFP or something, right? Like Pauper format something?
Something like that.
People for Pauper.
All right, my pick is... So, my breaking bulk this week was a very rules-entrenched breaking bulk, as Corbin would put it. It was a green common. It was the vanilla ice cream of breaking bulks.
Did you say vanilla?
I said vanilla.
You said vanilla.
I said vanilla.
Yeah,
I don't
you
care.
keep saying vanilla. There's
Go
an
on.
I.
Ignore Jason. Continue.
I'm standing by this one.
You said vanilla.
Yeah,
Do you say milk?
I said milk.
You do. You say milk with an E. That's weird. I can't believe I never noticed this before. The way you say words is
You
unacceptable.
just learned that DJ comes from New York?
I guess so. I've never heard him say
you
vanilla
kidding me?
before. I knew he came from New York, and I know he came from New York.
Oh my god. DJ, just with the pick.
I'm not as bad as Emily.
Ugh.
Emily's library and strawberry, like
You mean MLE?
Stop it.
library.
Jason,
know
you're
it.
from Michigan, man. I'm sure you say some stupid Michigan
I
stuff.
don't. I do say pop instead of soda, and apparently that is controversial. But when someone says soda, it sounds to me like they just fell off the back of a turnip truck. Hey guys, you want some soda? I'll find some soda.
Before this segment, we'll go fast, Corbin. Don't worry. We know your throat hurts.
We
know it's hard
Oh,
for
my,
you to
my
breathe.
throat hurts. They get fewer fucking coronaviruses. I don't know what to tell you. Other than
I just got the one, man.
that's
one.
That's like
No,
too
you got
many.
SARS-CoV-2, right?
I might have Deltacron. I don't know.
You have all 19 coronas.
Corbin, my leg hurts right now, but I'm powering through it because I care about the listeners. My pick of the week is I picked a vanilla
I hate you so
breaking
much.
bulk.
Why
for
did you?
What is
like
it,
Nature's
TJ?
Claim, very normal breaking bulk, which is why my pick of the week is 5 cards. It is 5 cards that are very dear to our hearts. It is
Jason,
5
interrupt him again.
It's a cycle that we got to preview on this podcast.
It's
The Talisman cycle from Modern Horizons 1 are roughly $2 to $3 a piece.
Ooh.
They have climbed a lot in the past year, and they are very reprintable. But I don't think.
Yeah, but so is Talisman of Dominance, and that hasn't gotten a reprint.
true.
Well, Talisman of Dominance got hit really hard in the blue-black zombie deck, and now it's down $5, and that's also a very good pick, which is what made me think of these. Is the ones that dodge reprints will probably climb to 5 or 6. They could get hit in Commander Legends 2. They could just get kneecapped, at which point you probably just wait and buy them.
Commander Legends 2 gave us, or Commander Legends 1 gave us the Diamond cycle,
Yeah.
which didn't help that format at all, but ruined the prices of all my Mirage Diamonds. So it was a lose-lose. So I don't know if they'll do Talismans.
They
I
might.
can't imagine
but-
them doing anything good. They'll do Border Posts or something.
Like they could do them in Jumpstart 2. They could do them in a Double Masters 2. There are places they can put the Talisman cycle, but this is more of a watch list pick of the week and not a like buy a brick of them. Because the ones that dodge reprints will continue to climb.
Checks out. Jason, what do you got?
I have a Magic the Gathering card called Cursed Mirror. It's under $4. That's not correct.
So I have thoughts on
enough,
this
I
card,
guess.
and I have thoughts on this card and your other cards that you did on Pick of the Week last week, because we had a conversation about Commander 2021 rares and their supply versus all this other stuff, and I was considering buying into like a bunch of monologue taxes, and then I went to TCG.
Monologue Tax is perhaps it gets played more, but I think the price is a couple bucks higher. So I like the entry price on Curse Mirror better.
Well, I liked all these in theory too, but the gaming company has a very, very, very big brick wall of these on TCG Player for all of these cards that I was like, oh, I'm going to buy some Cunning Rhetorics and Monologue Tech. How much does it take to check it? And then I was like, they have 600 copies.
They are the wall people. They are the new wall people. If you look and see there's 128 copies of a card, it's probably not them. If you look and there are 900 copies of a card, 500 of them.
Yeah,
they're not ruining anything per se, but like they are a force to be reckoned with.
They are effectively, the best way to describe it is like the Walmart of LGSs. They run basically their entire operation through TCG Player Store Your Product, and there's obviously not like a single person like updating prices in a spreadsheet, and like it's all algorithm based like CK, but like there's a reason that like there's 600 copies of each of these cards on Direct, and that's a very hard number. Like, that many copies have to start selling. Now, if somebody buys 50 copies, or if 50 copies sell naturally on this platform, then the algorithm probably makes adjustments to the price. So, like, it's not like you necessarily have to buy all of them before the price starts to change. But, like, it is worth
noting have a lot of control.
Price will change slower than if, like, oh, there's a $4 copy, a $4.50 copy, a $4.80 copy. Oh, now the price is $6.
Right.
There's a lot of copies of each of the... And, like, the group of cards we're talking about here is just sort of like this collective Commander 2021 exclusive, like, Cursed Mirror, Monologue Tax, Cutting Rhetoric, what's the blue one? Crafty...
Curiosity Craft. And my rebuttal to this whole argument is that Command Zone said Curiosity Crafter on their podcast, and that wall went away.
Sure, yeah. Like,
it won't take much.
Right.
It'll
and
take
like
people whose podcast actually has people listen to it, saying the name of the card. That's
I think I asked that question last week. Like, you picked Curiosity Crafter. I was like, oh, does Command Zone talk about this? And we didn't know. But now if we know, oh, that's why, then yes. That content creators have the power to make that wall go away, for sure.
It also, must just be noted, of course, that means that the gaming company has the power, should they choose, to up their price to $7. And
but that's what I'm saying. I don't think they do, because it's algorithm.
I understand it's algorithm based. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying that one person is going to sit there and do that. I'm saying that you, as a seller or as a person thinking about speculating, have to be aware that just the market is going to come and go on some of these cards in question, based on what the gaming company's algorithm chooses to do, and it's just something you need to be aware of one way or the other.
Yeah. Because, like, if you have these and you want to make money on them, you have a long way to go. Like, legit MTG is a store at the bottom of the first page of TCG Player that has 40 copies listed. Amazing Discoveries has 108 copies at $3.99 with $1 shipping. But, like, these are smaller walls, and, like, you're making 20%. If you, let's say you get in at 3 and you want to get out at 5, you're making basically nothing. But, like, I do think these are good picks long term, because number one, I don't think they get reprinted anytime soon. And number two, they're just very good, generic, casual cards that are just, like, all 4 of those cards we just mentioned are just good in the format and will be. But that wall discussion on gaming companies is a good discussion to have.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there you go, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We came to you torn ACLs, coronavirus and all, because Brainstorm Brewery comes every week. It's what we do.
We're
more reliable than the mail.
This podcast in the past close to 10 years, I think.
More reliable than the U.S. mail. That's our new tagline. But thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next week.
How do you know they listened? You don't know that they listened. You thank people for a thing you don't know they did.
Did they read the captions that we don't put on YouTube? What did they do? Did they read our lips? What did they do?
Maybe they just gave us the click because they're good people.
Well, then it doesn't matter because they can't hear me. They're not hearing me say this
the cast is on
right now. They're not hearing me say this with my coronavirus throat right now. Because they didn't listen, they just gave us a click. So I don't need
YouTube's auto captions are like pretty good. I know a couple deaf people, and they say YouTube's auto captions are pretty good.
This is good night.